A very good evening to all of you. You're watching News Tonight. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's go forward with the headlines. Parliamentary proceedings disrupted for the fifth day in a row due to standoff on the Delhi violence issue. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu advises government and opposition to hold consultations to ensure smooth functioning of the Rajya Sabha. Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to be in session next on 11th March after Holi. Amid noisy scenes, Lok Sabha passes the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Second Amendment Bill. Lower House also approves the Mineral Law Amendment Bill to ease the rules for allocation of coal mines. Both bills to replace related ordinances. Restructuring of Yes Bank to be completed within 30 days. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman allays fears of customers about safety of their deposits, assures them that in case of emergencies, customers will be allowed additional withdrawal facility under RBI rules. Central government exempts employees in all ministries and departments from registering biometric attendance till March 31st. Step taken as a precaution to prevent coronavirus infections. Cabinet Secretary holds high-level meeting to review measures to combat the crisis. And world facing new problems from climate change, says Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in his address at the Hindu Business Changemaker Award program. Cautions against risks posed by climatic imbalances to the environment, economy and livelihood. Vice President calls threat of the coronavirus a novel challenge. Rajya Sabha witnessed disruptions on Friday over demands of immediate discussion on the recent violence in Delhi. Opposition parties continue to press for their demand to hold a discussion for the fifth consecutive day, leading to disruptions. As soon as the meeting of the upper house met for the day, some opposition members came to the well of the house and created uproar. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu urged them to return to their seats, but to no avail. As the members continued their protest, the chairman warned them that raising slogans inside the house is unparliamentary and shameful. As the protests continued, Chairman Naidu adjourned the house to meet on 11th March after Holi.
You want discussion, you don't want house to run, you don't want other members to have their say. You have come prepared. You have come prepared to disrupt the house. That seems to be the situation. The house is adjourned to meet at 11 a.m. on 11th, that is Wednesday.
Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has expressed concern over the continuous disruptions in both houses of Parliament over the last few days. He said that the ruling and opposition parties must deliberate and find a meaningful solution that will ensure smooth functioning of the House.
What happened in this house or what is happening in the other house also is a matter of concern. I can only appeal to all, including the government and the opposition, please discuss among yourselves and come to some sort of a meaningful solution to see that the house functions very effectively, because the country is watching what is happening in the parliament, that too in a budget session. You have seen how many important legislations are coming. I only appeal to all of you, please take care of the same.
Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu also made an observation that the media should have highlighted the statement on coronavirus made by Health Minister Harshvardhan. The Union Minister had made the statement in Rajya Sabha on Thursday. The chairman said it was an issue of public concern, but unfortunately, a section of media did not focus on it. He expressed hope that media houses would consider focusing on such important topics in the future.
On my suggestion, after consultation with the leader of the opposition and other friends, the Minister for Health has made a detailed statement about steps that is being taken or taken and will be taken with regard to the spread of coronavirus. And later, honorable members, they also gave their valuable suggestions. But unfortunately, sections of the media, they did not focus on the important issue, and they were shown more interest on making other things as their headlines, ignoring this. Making other things headlines is their line. We can't help it. But ignoring such a vital, important aspect concerning the people of the country, that's not fair. I hope that they will take care in future.
As proceedings of Rajya Sabha began on Friday, the House gave advance greetings of International Women's Day. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu congratulated the House and appreciated the contribution of women in every field in life.
Members, March 8th is the International Women's Day, a day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women throughout the world and honor their resolute determination and incessant efforts to achieve equality, justice and economic development. It is also a day to reflect upon and ponder over the progress made so far and the impediments that lie in the path of women empowerment.
The chairman said that India has a vibrant history of women's empowerment. However, he pointed that despite equal rights given to women in the Constitution and the achievements of women in every field, their safety remains a concern.
Our founding fathers enshrined in the Constitution the ideals of gender equality and women empowerment as fundamental of achieving equal rights and dignity for all. Today, despite women registering remarkable progress on all fronts, gender equality and women's safety still remains elusive. Crimes against women are on the rise. The panacea for which lies not only in increasing the quality of policing and tweaking the criminal justice system, but also challenging and changing the deep-seated mindset prevalent in our society.
Chairman Naidu also stressed the need to give equal legislative rights to women, saying that women should be included at every stage of policy formulation and implementation.
Women should be provided with enough opportunities to serve as legislators in the state legislature and parliament. They also need to be included and consulted in every fora for policy formulation and implementation. This will ensure outcomes which are sensitive to the needs of women and provide ample opportunities for them to prosper and contribute to nation building. In spite of all odds, women of our country have come a long way to make their presence felt at the national and international level. It is our duty to keep up this momentum and continue building upon the progress achieved by women. On behalf of all the members and on my behalf, I place on record the appreciation of the services rendered by the women members of this House and also the women citizens of the country, and I wish them all best.
Lok Sabha proceedings were disrupted for the fifth consecutive day on Friday due to protests by opposition members seeking a discussion on Delhi violence. A committee chaired by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will look into the incidents that took place in the House between 2nd March and 5th March. The House was informed after the opposition demanded revocation of the suspension of 7 Congress MPs. On Thursday, 7 Congress members were suspended for the rest of the ongoing budget session for unruly behavior.
स्वयं स्पीकर ने उस दिन ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग करके ये कहा कि इस तरफ जो क्रॉस करके आते हैं मैं उसको सस्पेंड उन मेंबर को सस्पेंड करता हूं। फिर भी इधर आके इधर तक जब जायसवाल भी भाषण करते थे इधर तक आ गए। स्पीकर के ऊपर पेपर फेंका गया और इसके जब आप बैठे थे आपके ऊपर पेपर फेंका गया। कल रमा देवी का जब वो बैठी थी पूरा पेपर छीन के लेके ये तरीका है क्या सदन चलाने का, ये मैं पूछना चाहता हूं। ये सदन की बहुत ऊंची परंपरा रही है और आज मैं माननीय सदस्यगण, माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय एक समिति का गठन करेंगे। आप सुनिए, माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय एक समिति का गठन करेंगे जो दिनांक 2 मार्च 2020 से 5 मार्च 2020 तक सदन में घटी सभी घटनाओं की जांच करेगी और रिपोर्ट देगी। समिति के अध्यक्ष
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी स्वयं, अध्यक्ष महोदय स्वयं करेंगे तथा एक इस समिति में लगभग सभी दलों के प्रतिनिधियों का समावेश होगा।
Amid noisy scenes, Lok Sabha gave its nod to the Mines and Mineral Laws Amendment Bill. The bill proposes to remove end-use restrictions for participating in coal mine auctions and will open up the coal sector fully for commercial mining for all domestic and global companies. It would also pave the way for auctioning of iron ore mining leases, which expire this month. The process for the passage of the bill was underway on Thursday when the House was adjourned following protests by opposition members. Lok Sabha also passed the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Second Amendment Bill 2019. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman sought the cooperation of the members to pass the bill in the House. The bill was declared passed by Rajendra Agarwal, who was in the chair, amidst continuous protests by opposition members. The bill seeks to amend the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code so that successful bidders of insolvent companies are ring-fenced from any risk of criminal proceedings for offences committed by previous promoters of the companies concerned. With this, we'll halt in for a quick breather, but we'll be back soon. Stay tuned with us.
At what level do you see India and the United States collaborating on trade and commerce?
I think from a business community perspective, we know that we need to do our job too. And so, I'm here meeting with stakeholders in Indian industry to talk about what the future looks like for both our countries.
But how big a problem do you think protectionism is?
At the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, we don't like protectionism. We think that trade is an economic multiplier.
At what level are India and the United States collaborating on IP?
Well, today, the mindset is we are innovators, we are creators. We're making in India, making for India, but also delivering to the world. And that's a different mindset, and it requires a different orientation on intellectual property.
Watch a special interview with Patrick Kilbride, the Vice President of the US Chamber of Commerce, at these times on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. You're still with us on News Tonight. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Global Business Summit in New Delhi on Friday. Speaking at the event, Prime Minister Modi said that the fundamentals of Indian economy are strong and the government's policy is clear. So there wasn't much to worry about as far as the global economic downturn is concerned.
दो 2019 में देश में करीब $48 बिलियन का फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट आया। ये ग्रोथ रही 16% से ज्यादा, 16% से ज्यादा। इसी तरह भारत में पिछले साल $19 बिलियन का प्राइवेट इक्विटी एंड वेंचर कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट आया। इसमें भी ग्रोथ करीब 53% से ज्यादा रही है। देश फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टर्स भी उसमें भी अब निवेश बढ़ा रहा है। पिछले साल ये निवेश करीब $19 बिलियन का था। साफ है कि नए विकल्प तलाश रहे निवेशक भी अब भारत की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। देश
PM Modi also said
और कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ आइडियाज को लेकर लगातार आगे चल रहा है। आज भारत सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ का एक ऐसा मॉडल क्रिएट कर रहा है जो पूरे विश्व के लिए लाभकारी होगा। दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन प्रोग्राम, दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा सैनिटेशन प्रोग्राम, दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी हेल्थ एश्योरेंस स्कीम, ऐसी अनेक योजनाएं जिसके अनुभव दुनिया के विकास में मदद कर रहे हैं।
PM Modi also said that his government has a conviction to do the right things and break the status quo. He said that for his government, development and delivery of good governance is not a matter of convenience, but of conviction.
लेकिन हमारे लिए राष्ट्र निर्माण, देश का विकास, गुड गवर्नेंस, ये सारी बातें कन्वीनियंस का विषय नहीं रहा है। हमारे लिए ये कन्विक्शन है। कन्विक्शन टू डू द राइट थिंग्स, कन्विक्शन टू ब्रेक द स्टेटस को। डीबीटी के जरिए, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर, डीबीटी के जरिए हम स्टेटस को में बहुत बड़ा बदलाव लाए और हजारों करोड़ रुपए गलत हाथों में जाने से बचाए। ये कहना सरल है कि दिल्ली से 1 रुपया निकलता है तो 15 पैसा पहुंचता है, लेकिन इतने से बात पूरी नहीं होती है। 1 रुपया मतलब कि 100 पैसा कैसे पहुंचे, इसके लिए एक्शन जरूरी होता है। अब देखिए, रेरा कानून बनाकर हमने रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर को काले धन के बंधन से मुक्त करने का बहुत ही बड़ा कदम उठाया है और मध्यम वर्ग की पहुंच, उसके सपनों के घर तक वो अपने सपनों को पूरा करे, वहां तक हमने पहुंचाई है। मुक्ति का ये अभियान कॉरपोरेट वर्ल्ड में भी चला। आईबीसी बनाकर हमने स्टेटस को बदला और हजारों करोड़ रुपए की वापसी सुनिश्चित करने के साथ ही मुसीबत में फंसी कंपनियों को एक मार्ग भी दिखाया।
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the government has asked the Reserve Bank to look into what went wrong at Yes Bank and fix individual responsibilities. Addressing a press conference after the RBI superseded the board of Yes Bank and placed withdrawal restrictions, the Finance Minister said the bank was being monitored since 2017 and developments relating to it were being monitored on a day-to-day basis. Nirmala Sitharaman assured Yes Bank depositors that their money is safe and the RBI is working on an early resolution of the issue. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das also assured swift resolution to the issues. The governor added that the resolution to Yes Bank will be done very swiftly, well ahead of the 30 days deadline.
Yesterday, on their request, we've given the clearance for bringing a moratorium onto the bank, which is for the next 30 days. The withdrawal limit has been capped. Supersession of the management, meaning the bank's board. Then an appointment of a administrator who happens to be a former chief finance officer of the State Bank of India. And then, even as we speak, they have put in a scheme for restructuring the bank. Already the RBI's website should be having it, and that scheme will be effected within the period of the moratorium, which means within 30 days, we expect that scheme to fully come into play so that depositors are not troubled for too long. As it is, I understand they are putting through a rigorous pain when a moratorium comes into play, but RBI has assured me that the restructuring plan, which is up now in RBI's website, will come into play within the moratorium period, within 30 days, that is.
India's confirmed coronavirus cases jumped to 31 as another Delhi resident tested positive for COVID-19 on Friday. The patient has a travel history to Thailand and Malaysia. The Health Ministry says the patient has been quarantined in a hospital and is stable now. 7 family members of the patient have also been quarantined at their residence in West Delhi. Union Health Minister Harshvardhan held a high-level meeting with health ministers of various states and other officials of the ministry to review preparedness in dealing with the virus.
देश में हमने आइसोलेशन फैसिलिटीज़, क्वारंटाइन फैसिलिटीज़ को क्रिएट करने के लिए पर्याप्त व्यवस्था की है। दवाओं के बारे में या जो भी आवश्यक पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट हो सकते हैं, ये सारी चीज़ों के बारे में हमने पर्याप्त जो है इंतज़ाम करके रखे हैं। और देश में आप जानते हैं कि 6 लाख से ज़्यादा लोगों को एयरपोर्ट्स पर स्क्रीन किया जा चुका है।
Meanwhile, India is in touch with Iran on possible evacuation of Indian pilgrims and students stranded there. On Friday night, a special flight is bringing samples of 300 Indians from Iran for investigation. People whose samples test negative for coronavirus will be brought to India on the next flight. But those found positive will not be allowed to return to India till they are cured.
What we are doing for the purpose of the particular situation with Iran, Secretary has cleared one flight to begin with, which will bring the swabs and take the Iranian citizens here back to Iran. What other further measures we take? We are monitoring the situation on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. If further flights have to be done, they will do that.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has informed that the same flight will take Iranians stranded in India back to their homes. People are stranded in the country because flights from Delhi and Mumbai to Iran have been suspended due to the virus outbreak.
Trying to collect the samples, the sample swabs will be collected from our Indians there itself, and immediately on the first flight which comes to India, these swabs will be brought to India, they will be tested in India, and within a day we will come to know whether what type of infection or the safety standards we have to follow for the Indian passengers coming.
According to a Ministry of Personnel order, all central government employees have been exempted from marking attendance through the biometric system. The precautionary measure will be effective till 31st March. The Delhi government on Friday directed schools to suspend morning assembly as a precautionary measure to contain the spread of the coronavirus. It has also suspended biometric attendance for staff members till further orders. The primary classes of all schools in the national capital have been closed till 31st March. Meanwhile, the Border Security Force on Friday said the daily retreat ceremony between India and Pakistan at the Atari Wagah border in Punjab will be conducted without public presence. However, the Border Security Force will continue performing the ceremonial duty of lowering the flag and other drills. In view of the deadly coronavirus, the entry of visitors to the Parliament complex has been banned. After the holy break, when the Parliament will resume on 11th March, visitors will not be allowed to enter the premises. A statement from the Lok Sabha Secretariat said that no admission letters will be issued to any visitor. MPs will also not be allowed to take their acquaintances on the tour of the Parliament House in the current session. Meanwhile, the death toll from the coronavirus outbreak continues to rise, with a global death toll over 3,400, while more than 1 lakh people being infected in more than 80 countries as on Friday. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu decried attempts by certain international agencies and bodies to interfere in India's internal affairs and described their actions as unwarranted. Interacting with participants of the Indian Institute of Democratic Leadership in New Delhi, the Vice President said that those agencies should desist from such actions and asserted that no country with self-respect would accept outside interference in its internal matters. Asserting that India would continue to be a model to the world when it comes to the functioning of its strong and vibrant democracy, The Vice President said that Indian democracy has proved to be a miracle by the way it has expanded and consolidated during the last 7 decades.
Misinformation, disinformation, lack of information, and also wrong information is going on in the country in the recent years about the country, about our secular fabric, about our politics and all. In the recent times, there have been attempts by certain international agencies and bodies to interfere or comment on India's internal affairs. This is not welcome. It is totally unwarranted and uncalled for, and these agencies must desist from such actions. We know how to handle our issues.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu presented the Hindu Business Line Changemaker Award on Friday. Vice President congratulated the awardees and said that with their vision, initiative and drive are not only they transforming lives of people, but also are making this world a better place. He lauded Duti Chand for getting the Changemaker of the Year award and ISRO for being the second Changemaker of the Year.
Change is constant. It is happening all around, everywhere. But it is the role of change makers like you to accelerate this progress, to ensure that the benefits of this change reach the last person and uplift the lives of the poor and downtrodden. Change of climate will affect the lives of the people. So we must come out with some sort of solutions, and that's not easy. Climate change has the potential to do enormous harm to the environment, to ecosystems, to economies, and to the livelihood opportunities. More recently, the coronavirus, which has been spreading rapidly around the world, represents a serious challenge to public health in all countries. It will require the collective wisdom of scientists, policy makers, everywhere to tackle all these challenges.
And now let's talk about environment and climate change. Climate change has increased the risk of forest fires and bushfires. Latest report by the World Weather Attribution says that human-induced climate change has increased the risk of the weather conditions that drive these fires by at least 30%. Compared with the climate of 1900, the probability of fire weather index as high as in 2019-20 has increased by more than 4 times. As a trend in extreme heat is one of the main factors behind this increase, and given that the models underestimate the observed trend in heat, the real increase could be much higher. The researchers used computer climate models to examine the impact of increased levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere on the risk of intense fires. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for watching.
आयुष्मान भव में कॉल कीजिए